Hi there, it's me, Gamer Tyler here. I'm recapping My Hero Academia Season 8, Episode 164. History's greatest villain. A few days before the war, the team of heroes are tasked with fighting Tomura Shigaraki are going over the battle plan inside of the makeshift fortress. Troy, the best journalist, is reciting the importance of the coffin in the sky for the battlefield for their takedown operation. As the villain can unravel their plan if they were to reach solid ground. Ninjori-chan and Sun either believe that the hero is returning to the fact that they'd be at a huge disadvantage fighting Tomura on the ground, which sparks some confusion as their battlefields have been completely evacuated, meaning they'd presumably just be protecting all the buildings and structures. Eggshot and Best Jeanist clarified that it's for the greater purpose, as guarding the ruined city below assures that everybody affected by the villains will have a life and future to go back to once the fighting has concluded. Best Jeanist believes that the biggest threat to that in their eventual fight in the chaos event with the villain's unfiltered personality, and hopes that the all for one half inside him stays as a constant while similarly cruel. Tomura's master is the type to have something and someone to rule once he stands up unopposed. Otherwise, with the hatred and power he's been saddled with, the Tomura half wouldn't want to just destroy everything once he gets the chance. The hero says the most important phase in this conflict is what happens after their side secures a victory, as what follows needs a solid foundation to rebuild the country on. In the present, the fight between Tomura and Deku has been taken to the ocean due to the villain using decay to run away and sink massive chunk of the Suzuka Predator. Tomura says that he could sink the entire country in a week at this rate, assuring that Japan has no chance of recovering from the destruction that he and his side have unleashed. Deku, of course, isn't going to allow that to happen and dishes out an all-out offensive on Tomura by calling his powers Gear First, Fajin, and Danger Sense. He has also placed his respector over his face to help stabilize his breathing. Aimed rough ocean waves. While his attacks are keeping Tomura at bay, Deku unfortunately still hasn't found a way to permanently disable the villain. In the midst of their battle, Tomura senses that All For One has died, and amuses that his master's death could have been prevented if Dynamite never intervened. With some sick sense of gratitude, Tomura thanks the student as his meddling has made the man come back stronger than ever. Tomura then launches himself forward, now being able to match Deku's speed, and prepare to use All For One and Decay simultaneously as he spreads open his hand and places it at Deku's face. In this, Deku slashes at Tomura's fingers thanks to Gingersen's quick activation. While the boy's body is unharmed, his quirk wasn't, as Danjiro informs Deku that Hikage, along with Danger Sense's quirk factor, has been stolen by Tomura. Much more could have been pilfered if not for his intervention, as Hikage pushed his comrades away from the hand, reaching into the vestige realm before he was snatched by All For One for one quirk. Tomura isn't that interested in Danger Sense now that it's in his possession, but he won't complain about it since It's an additional aid to his desire to destroy Deku. He demonstrates as much as effortlessly dodging the flurry of gear shift enhanced block chains sent out by Deku before diving down and blasting the boy with a huge burst of energy from his hand. Deku manages to block the brunt of the attack by crashing, creating a cage of black whip tendrils around him. But the resulting force caused him to skip across the surface of the ocean like a stone. As he keeps blasting from backwards, Tomura asks why Deku is still trying to view him as a human. As if he were to take a good look, he finds that this aspect of him is no longer part of him. Eventually, Deku crashes over near the base of Mount Fuji. As he unravels the Black Whip tendrils, his respirator crumbles in the palms of his hands. Bruce chimes in that thankfully danger sense his quirk factor was always stolen and not the stockpile of physical strength, as that part of One For All is stored separately from the other abilities. Worried for everyone's safety, and now aware that their vestiges and the entire entity of All For One can now be stolen intensely and basically encounters that Deku make a tragical retreat. Tomura then lands and says he can hear what they're plotting and starts a chain of destruction on the forehead around behind him. Before getting back up and confronting walking around, the villain knows that the attempts of escaping will give One For All more breathing room to grow stronger and potentially take him down another day. Someone wants to ensure that Deku and the other vestiges will be killed on the spot. He wishes to do the same to anywhere they might run to, as he's doing now, in service of the flattered, empty horizon that Spinner wants to see so much. Finally, he wants to sink Mount Fuji, since decaying it from the top of it will cause an unstoppable chain of destruction, which Danjiro quickly tells Deku about. Tells Yoichi that Tomura is no successor of All For One, as while their archenemy will at least preserve some of what he conquers for his own benefit. His prodigy is embodiment of destruction and ruin, someone who seeks to destroy everything and leave nothing behind, even with all this crumbling rubble headed straight to him. And remembering that Tomura still tried beating him into several times, Deku holds onto his ideals and says everything he's seeing is connected to what's deep inside of his opponents somehow. He then thinks back to what Ochiro told him about not being able to understand how Himiko possesses common sense. As despite everything Tomura's done, Deku still views his adversary as a person underneath all that villainy. Deku then powers One For All to up to 100% in his right arm, and with with the output shattering his mid gauntlet to bits as he begins to reinforce his arm with Black Whip. Tomura danger sense starts going off as Deku plants his feet on the dirt and throws his reinforced arm forward with some quick thinking. As he was being flung into Mount Fuji, Deku was able to store up kinetic energy to fuel Fujin by using Black Whip to forcibly flex his muscles. Thanks to this, Deku was able to max out Fujin's power storage and fuel it into this current attack in the form of an enormous Delaware smash that sends Tomura into the air and it rips out the ground that was being affected by decay. Tomura, inside the massive cloud of dust that was kicked up, picks up that uprooting the ground will cut off any attempt for decay to spread out, but feels it's ultimately futile since he can't just touch it. He can't just touch it again. Danger goes off once more, but Tomura realizes he can't see anything, as the dust seems to be sinking into the air despite the lengthy amount of time that's passed. The villain then darts a barrage of black whips and a black chain erupting from below. As the Sense activates once more, and Tomura throws an arch-pathly punch forward, Deku then dives down from above and slugs Tomura in the arm, using his own enhanced arm, which breaks off the villain's hand. With their bout of ingenuity, Deku was able to send out Smokescreen and apply the well-geared speed to it, providing him with plenty of cover and attack with Black Whip and Black Chain, and allowing the student to create openings by misdirecting Tomura's danger sense. However, Deku's plan is quickly compromised once he begins storing more kinetic energy with Fajin, as he warns him that Tomura can instantly walk onto his location with Search. Tomura does just that and sends out several tornadoes of vibrant stab towards Deku. As if things couldn't get any worse, Gear Shift has timed out, immobilizing the hero and forcing him to catch his breath from the quirk recoil. Deku still pushes himself to reach out the assistance of the crying young boy inside Tomura as he rockets himself forward using Fajin and tries to go for a kick, which the villain easily dodges. Tomura says that all people try to interrupt the world based on their personal views of it and anything and nothing else, and you'll make up all the types of reasons for the things that don't fall into it in order to make themselves feel better. The villain feels that Deku is trying to do the same in viewing him as his old self, as part of the view of him was overcome long ago thanks to him expanding his worldview. So nothing is holding him back from this point. Nana hears his grandson's voice from the Visage realm. Despite her previous support of Deku trying to save Tomura, she reluctantly tells the boy that it's time to give up, as the man is beyond saving at this point. The woman marks Tomura as the highest wall that this heroic philosophy could face. It's more worldwide to blow her grandson away in one shot with all the power he can accumulate, instead of climbing over it. Deku refuses to tell Nana that if her assignment is true, then Tomura wouldn't have hung on to and put a lid on his childhood memories after all this time. Nana begins to cheer up at Deku's words once again. Sir rushes forward and proclaims that he won't stop punching until that lid breaks. Kudo was afraid of something like this happened, as even though he found the notion of saving Tomura naive at first, he's been with Deku long enough to know that this is what drives the boy to push himself. Deku believes that everyone has a heart, no matter how a person's born or what they grow up to be. And Kudo wants to hold out on and trust in that too. Suddenly in the Vestige realm, the vestiges of Star and Stripe appear and point down at a crack located inside Tomura's shouldered core, and tells All Might's that is a sad child in there. The real All Might, fighting to stay awake from Eggshot, watches over him. Says he can feel the core of All For One coming apart as he speaks. Kudo then closes his eyes and tells Deku to do exactly what he's about to tell him. Part ways with one for all, which shocks the other vestiges. In the midst of Kudo's risky proposal, Deku is blasted into the dirt by Tomura as the villain starts remembering his encounter with Star and Stripe, and the warning her fading message gave about the spirit of a hero always pursuing as long as people can help each other. The boy desperately tries to gather himself and asks Kudo what he means by giving up one for all. First of men ask Deku to calm his mind, or else they risk Tomura listening to them. The soldier then points to the weak spot in Tomura's rotten core that was finished out by Star and Stripe, which turns out to be a mental scar carved out by the deceased hero. Kudo tells Deku that at this rate, Tomura will completely overpower him in terms of strength, so their best option is to bring the assault on the inside. To achieve this, Kudo suggests transferring One for All directly into Tomora's scar, allowing them to crash into the tear open the wound, making the villain mind vulnerable. Deku and In aren't following his logic, as giving Tomura one for all will just turn their shared quirk against them. Kudo clarifies that he means a brutal, forceful transfer, likes it to the Katsu. Suki tends to angrily hand back papers to Izuku during class. The man does admit that that's no guarantee that the plan will work, so he offers to use himself and Gear Shift as a guinea pig for the plan. Since thanks to Keiji's sacrifice, they know that a partial transfer using only the stored individual's quirk factor is possible in some way. If the hunch is right, Kudo will be able to attack Tomura's core with the full force of quirk factor without having Gear Shift stolen. In brilliantly protests Kudo's performing the test and offers himself as a sacrifice, as he feels Smokescreen is more expendable compared to Gear Shift, and compromising the latter quirk will take away their shot of victory. Kudo shuts him down, saying that Deku will die if he's still immobilized. Parting with the Gear Shift will instantly cancel the quirk's cooldown recoil. Additionally, if Tomura tries to use it after the transfer, he'll be forced to recoil and be wide open. Bruce adds his 2 cents, noting that while he can question his leader's judgment, the other soldier feels the cons outweigh the pros in this instance. Kudo tells his subordinate that the two have made a lot of harsh decisions during their previous fights with All For One, and what he's asking Deku to do is no different. As the student forces himself to get up while further enhancing his body with Black Whip, Kudo notes that of the boy's unbreakable spirit. Wants to believe that his viewpoint is right. Nana agrees with Kudo and notes that how much he's pushing himself to live up to the potential of the quirk his successor and his hero rewarded him with. Kudo asks Danjuro to stay close to Deku and tells Yoichi that he can now take things from here. With all the other vestiges now on the same page, Kudo asks Deku how he feels about their proposal. Now on his feet, Deku says he'll go through with it, as he screams out while finishing up coating his body with Black Whip tendrils. Please subscribe, help reach 1,000 plus subscribers. Watch the videos fully helps increase the watch hours of 4,000 plus, and help fund the channel by donating monthly on a Patreon page at $8 a month, starting at $8 a month, with 4 plus posts per month, or $3 per post, or one-time donation on the Ko-Fi page. Have a blessed day. See you next visit. But for now, bye.